Today I'm going to run down through how to set up a small sound system. This is a Behringer board, 8 input mixer. You could do left and right input, so you could do, if somebody had electronic drums, guitar, vocals, you could do a small band. And I'm going to show you how to hook this up. You start with everything off except the board that comes on automatically when I plug it in. Now I'm just coming out of you can see the mains right there on the side. I'm coming out of there, and that's the CD player that I have over here plugged in. I have that just going into one of the channels, and I keep everything down when you're starting. And you want to turn everything on and turn on the power amp last, so there's no big popping. And I'm going to do a review of this too. It's GTD Audio power amp. It's the Q3800. I've had this for a long time and never even used it. So I have other power amps, so I've got it mounted in this gator case, and you can see the back. You got channel A and channel B output, and then the inputs are the yellow cables. They're coming out of the mains on the board, and that's just the power for the power amp. And these blue ones are running to the speakers. They just go up, because these speakers only have the speak on inputs. So here's this one over here, and these all run at 8 ohm. And this is, I think it runs at, it'll go down to 2 ohm, I think, this power amp. Back on the board I've got a mic plugged in, and just a mic and the CD player, and those are all plugged in. And when you run cables like the sound cable, when you're crossing where there's power, you want to make an X. You don't want to run along with the power, because you'll get more noise. So that's a good thing. I've run sound for about 20 years. Little small things like this, and bigger ones, bigger setups. And this is my smallest board. I have 16 channel, but I don't use anything digital yet. This board doesn't even have any onboard effects. But if you're going to add effects in, you can do it. Either you can set it up in a case like the Gator case, or just use the onboard effects on the board if you have any. So that's a basic setup. And you could add in the rack, you could add in another power amp, more speakers, crossover. The crossovers are built right into these speakers, so I can't even get into that. But I used to have a 3-way crossover setup, and 3 separate power amps to run the high, mids, and lows. And I'm going to set up my other camera to do the sound test on this, because this is what I'm really focusing on, this power amp. It was cheap. I don't even remember how much it was, because I bought it so long ago. I never took it out of the box just to see if it'd come on. That was about it. Okay, I'm going to set up my other camera because that picks up sound better. Here are the specs of the Q3800. You get the 3800 at 2 ohms, but that's split from side to side, and a momentary peak of 5800 watts. I don't think that'll happen, but way down at the bottom you see it says 1000 watts at 8 ohms, momentary peak at 1600 watts at 8 ohms. So I was probably hitting about maybe like 300 watts a side, it sounded like to me. Has a front to rear airflow and dual cooling fan, a good frequency response, 10 to 50K. It only weighs 24 pounds. That's good for a power amp. And it's got the accelerated transient response for punch and clarity. Sounds nice. It worked pretty good. Here's a demo of the power amp, the Q3800 from GTD Audio. I'm running through two-way speakers, 15-inch Behringers, and a Behringer board that I went through earlier. This is I'm going to turn this up about halfway. This is the microphone.
Testing. Test. 1, 2. Test. Check. 1, 2. I'm turning the highs up and down. 1, 2. Test. The mids. On these boards it's all basically the same. You might have more or less, but sounds good. I don't want to turn it up too high because of the feedback. Here's the bass.
I'll turn that down. Now it's time for the CD player. That's a good song. As you can hear on there, it's got plenty of punch. It's a nice little power amp. I'm going to show the specs at the end of the video, but I think it's probably running about 400 or 300 watts a side. It sounds like,
Now back to the microphone. This is a great little power amp. I don't even know if that company still exists. Because I bought it years ago. I just never got the time to set it up. And that's about it.